You are about to see a Fix It Friday video where an person with very little technical skill or knowledge would attempt to fix something. This is not a how-to video and is likely to be factually incorrect and at times possibly dangerous. Please don't copy Kip and see this video for limited entertainment purposes only. Roll titles!
Hello and welcome to today's Fix It Friday, and as you've seen from the thumbnail, we're going to be looking at this. And this is my Firefox F7, which is in a very sorry state of affairs. Now, I've actually done two previous videos on this. The first one when I actually tried to repair it, and once I got inside it, I actually realized that it was absolutely disgusting in there. And as I worked on the boards, I found out that all the Zener diodes that are in it were basically destroyed. Lots of them had crumbled and just sort of broken in half and were just completely useless. So in the second video, I got a working Firefox F7 and purchased a Zener diode tester because I thought that the board was covered in Zener diodes. And it actually identified some of the diodes that were on my working Firefox F7. But it didn't identify all the Zener diodes. And judging from your comments on that video, they weren't actually Zener diodes, they are regular diodes. Yeah, I wasn't able to identify them and therefore find the right components to put back into this original one to make it work. But today, we're hopefully going to end with this Firefox F7 working. How are we going to do that? We're going to use a bit of a sacrificial lamb, and here is that lamb. Now this is a Firefox F7 board that Philip Bryden has actually sent me. This was one that he made a video about, and he was working on several of them at the same time, and I think there was some sort of short on one of them, which meant that the main chips were actually damaged and therefore the game wouldn't actually fully start. But it does work to a point. It powers up, it shows the demo mode, and yeah, it works. So I thought what we could do is we could maybe have a closer look at the diodes that are on this board, maybe do some measurements and testing and see if hopefully with the right numbers and figures, you brainy people out there like Having Fun Repairs, he was very helpful in the previous video comments. Maybe we can actually find out what they are, but so there is a sort of bit of a resolution to it, we can actually take the diodes and Zener diodes off this board and transport them into my one. Philip has given me permission to do that. He hasn't just kindly sent me this and I'm robbing the parts from it. Yeah, I thought we could still try and identify what all the diodes are, but I think I've got a little bit more knowledge now when it comes to testing them. I say that, I don't really, but you pointed me in the right direction. And also something that I didn't realise until editing is there are actually two more diodes behind here, and I completely forgot about those. I don't think these are Zener diodes either. But we'll take some measurements on them anyway. So I think what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to put some power into this and then take some measurements of the diodes, and then I'm going to take them all out and put them in some sort of order and then install them onto my Firefox. And hopefully we'll finish with a working Firefox. I really hope we do. And then using what I've shown you, maybe you can go, right, okay Kip, that diode at S09 is definitely this. Having Fun Repairs did have a punt at a few of them, but I don't have diodes lying around, so you know, if I'm going to buy them, I want to buy the right ones. So maybe there'll be another video once we've identified them all, I don't know, but what I will do is no matter what we find out, I will update the schematics with the sort of information that we've gleaned from all of my videos. Anyway, let's get some power into this and then we can test our diodes. Oh, and also something I didn't know is this multifunction tester that I showed in the video if you put Zener diodes in this Ka area, it will actually Zener diode test them. So I didn't need to buy that tester, which is annoying, but never mind. Again, I don't fully understand everything. I might say the wrong terminology. I might get words wrong. I am no expert at this, and I'm just trying to learn and trying to understand and hopefully help the community fix their boards eventually. Right, so we've got a powered up, sort of working board. Philip seems to be pretty certain that his boards have some sort of chip fault, so hopefully all the diodes and everything should be fine. Right, okay, so first off, we're going to start with the diode here at S05. So this diode seems to have a sort of red band and then a sort of maybe a gold band. Right, so I've got my multimeter in voltage DC test mode. So if I go here to here, so there's sort of 1.9 volts going through that, up to 2 volts. Because apparently what I was doing wrong in my last video was I was testing the diodes to ground, but you shouldn't test them like that. You should test the voltage across them rather than testing them to ground. So then we'll go to SO6, which looks very, very similar. It's got the sort of red band here and sort of like, I think it's got maybe got a little gold band and then like the orange body. So what is going across that one? So that is saying 15 volts. It's fluctuating a tiny bit, but yeah, that is 15 volts going across that diode. Right, so now to keep them in order, we've got to look at the diodes behind here. Spin this round. Okay, so if I go here, so these have got sort of blue ends and maybe a gold band and then a red body. Interesting, I'm not getting anything across those. Yeah, nothing on S07. I'll go to S08. That's weird, again, nothing on that one there either. That is interesting. I don't really know what that means. Maybe I need to put this in like a lower voltage mode, maybe. Oh, hang on, look, there we go. So this is S07. S07 is sort of fluctuating. It's not even a full volt. That's really strange. Okay. And then what do we have on the back here on S08? Okay, again, not even a full volt. Interesting, okay. All right, let's move it back around again. So now we've got S09 and yeah, this is sort of like a multicolored one with green and yellow on it. I might actually put them under the microscope once I've taken them off and we can have a proper look to see what's what. So let's measure this one. So that's got 5.9 volts running across it. So we realised from the Zener diode tester that S11, S10 and S12 are actually Zener diodes and their voltage ratings are actually written on the board. So we know for sure what those are. That is the voltage measurement across those diodes. I don't entirely know what it means, but yeah, that's what's going on. So what I've got here is a bit of cardboard and I'm going to take each diode out and pop it into the bit of cardboard so it keeps track of where everything is. It's not very high tech, but it also means that we can maybe look at them under the microscope as well. So now what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to quickly take out every single diode and Zener diode from this board, and then we can do some testing out of circuit and put them in the multi-function tester, check the diode readings out on here maybe, and then look at them under the microscope. Actually, what I'll do is while I'm taking those diodes out, I'll shout out the people who have joined the channel either via Facebook, Patreon or YouTube. And basically people who have joined the channel through those methods actually help support it and mean that I can buy all the equipment and everything you see on this channel and sort of just help support me. Now, if you can't afford to do that or don't want to, then just hitting like on the video and then subscribing to the channel would be a massive, massive help. I'm on the road to 20,000 subscribers now, and it would be really awesome to have you along for the journey. So while I'm solder sucking, let's thank all those people who have already joined. So on Facebook, Patreon and YouTube, we've got the Kip fans who are Matt Lovey's, JRC Electrical, For the Burbs, Wayne Cornish, Mike Cass, Rob Lynn, Scott Made a Thing, Michael Wood, Draco MacGyver, Rebecca and Rachel Hadley. Then we've got our incredible early birds who are Dean Ball, Sean at Cablesmith Electrical, Tim Salt, Sorcerer Stan and Mark C. And oh my goodness, I love these guys so much. They are the Kip lovers, and they are Bella Webster, Stestics Fix, Lawrence, Scott Kendall, and brand new we've got Props Retro Fix. Then finally we've got our amazing, incredible Kip nutters who are Becky Boobar and Alan Green. Thank you so much all of you for your continued support, and it's great to have some of you joining on Patreon. Anyway, on with the video. So yeah, something I find interesting is just how the different diodes are denoted on the board. So obviously the Zener diodes have got the voltage of them written, and then when it comes to like SO9, that looks a certain way that's different to SO6 and SO5. So they are different types of diode. Maybe one's a Schottky diode. I think Having Fun Repairs mentioned one of them might be a Schottky diode. Yeah, S07 and S08, they look similar to S6 and S05. So what we'll do now is we'll just go through these diodes, because we know these ones here are Zener diodes, and we know their values. And let's just put this on diode test and see what it says. Because again, this can all help identify what diodes they are. So SO5, 836. 836 watts, I don't know. What does SO6 say? 855. Okay, so that's not far off. What's going on with S09? Okay, so that's quite a bit different. Switching all over the place, but we're sort of leveling out about 672. See what S07 says. 855. So again, similar to S05 and S06. And S08, what's that saying? 844-ish, yeah. But let's put these into the multi-function tester now. So let's take out S05. UF, okay, so UF 750 MV, C5PF. Okay, right. We'll remember that. Let's test S06 now. Okay, so again, that's very similar. UF 750. Oh, is that 758? Yeah, 758 MV, C equals 5PF. So I'm expecting this one to be wildly different, because this guy seems a bit spicy. So SO9. Aha, look. Okay, so yeah, that's different. UF 646 MF, C4PF, right, okay. I don't have any idea what any of this means, but it feels exciting. And then this is SO7, UF 758 MV, C5PF. equals 5 PF. I assume PF is picofarads. So SO8. Oh, so that's slightly different, isn't it? Only a tiny bit. So UF 725 MV millivolts, I guess, and C equals 5 PF. Right, let's just try S10, which is one of the Zener diodes, and see what that says on this multifunction tester. Don't think it will say Zener diode, I think it will still say diode. Ah, look, okay, so that's quite a high C value. Put it in the Zener diode side and do a test. Yes, look, Zener diode. See, that says UZ 1.3 volts, but that's different. That's not one of the voltages, I don't think. S10 is meant to be 7.5 volts. So I don't really understand that. That Zener diode is super hot now. Right, let's just put it on the Zener diode tester. I think it breaks down the voltage thing with heat. Right, quickly. See what the Zener diode tester is saying for this. Yeah, so this is saying a bit closer to what it's meant to be, 7.43 volts. I'm still happy that I've got this Zener diode tester, because that seems to give the correct results. Okay, well, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to have a little look at these under the microscope and see if there's anything weird and wonderful that we can glean from them. Just to see if there's any sort of markings on them that I can't really see with my stupid old eyes. So let's do that. So I've just got the microscope out and I'm looking, and this is S12 and the board says 9.1 and S12 says 9.1. It also has a B on it, B1 maybe? But yeah, look, 9.1. So it does tell us what the diode is for the Zener diode. Let's have a look at S11. So S11 is meant to be 5.1. Aha, 5.1 and then B3. Okay. So yeah, we can identify the Zener diodes. And then S10 from the Zener diodes, I think, is 7.5. So there we go, look, we've got a 7 and we've got a 0.5 and then B3. Nice! Now I don't know if these diodes have any markings on them. I don't think they do. They just have the bands. But let's just take 0.5 as an example, just to make sure there's no writing on it. No, there's no other markings on this one. Let's have a look at S09, because that was a slightly different one, wasn't it? So there, it's got the green and yellow strip. Yeah, no markings or anything on that at all. And then we'll just look at S07. So there we go. So that's, again, not got any markings on it, but it does have a blue band and a sort of silver band as well. So yeah, now we know that these Zener diodes tie up with what the board says and also what my Zener diode tester says, which is very helpful.
So hopefully now, with all the measurements that I took and the details that I found, hopefully you brain boxes out there might be able to work out exactly what is what. I'm pretty certain that a few people, definitely having fun repairs, mentioned that the colour codes on the diodes are a bit similar to the colour codes on resistors, whereby they say what they are. I'm going to have to do some more investigation with that. And also it's going to be super handy now. I've got some close-up video of the colours and things, and hopefully it can all come together. But I want to get this Firefox working because it's been dead for far too long. So I'm going to use all of those components and put them back and put them onto this board, and hopefully we can finish with a fixed Firefox. I think what I'm going to do, because I've dismantled this several times on camera now, I'm going to just cut to it being dismantled and then maybe putting the components in, because yeah, this, you've seen this several times over. So hopefully when you come back in a second, by the power of YouTube, this will be fully disassembled.
And there we go, my original Firefox board that started it all. And yeah, it's not really in the best of condition. Some of the components that are still on there, you see that resistor R05 has got a very sort of tinge of green to it, and also can you see the legs on the actual screen? Now I think, if I remember rightly, after I put out the first video, the person who I bought this from on eBay actually got in touch with me and apologised and basically said he'd done some sort of house clearance and found this, I think, in someone's loft, and just sort of stuck it on eBay as non-working. And yeah, he didn't really know much more about it than that. But yeah, obviously I would say that it's quite a damp loft. So, I mean, I don't feel entirely confident, even though I'm going to be putting working diodes back on this board. And also we've got to fit one of these transistors, I think it's a transistor, onto here, because I'd taken it off because it just kept on blowing them up. Yeah, even if we get everything right on this board, I do worry that it's just not going to work. But we've got to have faith. But I think if it doesn't work, or even if it does, I think I'm just going to send this board to Phil so he can nick one of the chips off it. I can't remember which one on his is buggered, and hopefully he can fix his, because yeah, when I was dismantling the case of mine, I realised just how damaged it was. So the one I've got, I don't need two of these. So yeah, so now I've got to, nearly threw it everywhere, got to go to my trusty bit of cardboard and put the diodes and things from Phil's donor board onto here, and then we can see if it works. So yeah, I'm just going to rattle through and get all of these in. Oh yeah, look, can you see there's some green on that capacitor up there? So this board might not have any life left in it, but we'll give it a go. It's Fix It Friday after all. That's what we try and do, fix things. So yeah, I'm just going to get these components off one by one and put them back in the board. Oh man, it's pretty hard going. Some of the tracks are actually starting to come off. I've had trouble down here, and this one was already damaged from when I did the first video, and now this track up here started to come off, but I think I've rescued it. So yeah, I don't think this board is in the happiest of states at all. Oh, it's still got S12 on there from when I looked at the board originally. I'll have to take that off. I don't know if I put the right value on that. Anyway, let's come back when I've done them all, because it's really time consuming and fiddly, and I can't keep the board in shot at all times, but I'm getting there. Right, well, It's back together. It's got all the right components in, but I don't know if that's going to make it work or not. I really don't. I've bridged the power switch, so the 6 volts is going directly onto the board, so we don't need to have the power switch plugged in. I don't have the speakers wired up because I'm not convinced it's going to work. And I've got the replacement transistor in, so yeah. Let's get the bench power supply set to 6 volts and switched on. And let's see what happens. Right, anyway, I'm just delaying the inevitable. Let's plug it in and see what happens. It's drawing ampage. But yeah, it's not doing anything. That is frustrating as heck. There's just the board is just not in a very good way, and so many of these components could be faulty. I mean, even the display could be faulty with the way that all the pins are rusted. So yeah, I'll just have a quick poke around, see if we get any voltages anywhere. Yeah, so we've got a bit of voltage on that Zener diode there. If we come over to this side, I don't think we've got anything. Oh look, there we go, we've got a bit of life here, yeah. But yeah, we've effectively given this completely new working Zener diodes and it's still faulty. So it could be some of the capacitors, it could be the resistors, it could be the chips, it could be the transformer. But I have invested so much time into this, I don't think this board is ever going to work again without effectively replacing everything, and that just seems pointless, especially as the board itself isn't in the best condition, and obviously the moisture or whatever that's eaten this board and the components seems to be sort of deep within it almost. So it's frustrating, but we've learned a bit about this, and hopefully we can identify what some of these diodes are, and that will help. But yeah, I just can't afford to waste any more time on this. So best thing to do is bundle this back with Philips boards and send them back to him, and maybe he can take the chips that he needs off this one, and hopefully they still work to fix his. So, you know, maybe we can get 1 or 2 of these working from this now zombie board. It's frustrating, but what can you do? Not the outcome I'd hoped for or wanted to give you, but it was fairly inevitable, if a little bit frustrating. But I'm learning, we're learning together, and so that is important. But anyway, I do hope you've enjoyed these videos. Make sure that you like, and if you've got any thoughts on it, then let me know in the comments. But I do think I'm done with this now because it's just too much. So yeah, I've got some more fixes coming along. I've got some more Game Gears to look at. I've got a few other bits and pieces in the pile. So, you know, there's plenty to come back for, and I imagine we'll have more success in the future. But this just wasn't meant to be. But hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But for now, it's game over.